RC Charge Root Riders is easily the strongest Town Hall 17 attack strategy, both in the normal mode and any of the modifiers. And today I'm going to give you the 5 tips that pros use that is the difference between them and us. The first tip is about making sure you have the right pet combinations. Now the Royal Champion, this is a gimme. Obviously run the Spirit Fox, it's going to enhance your Royal Champion charges and get much more value. But the King is one that will interest people. The pros aren't using the Phoenix. Now the Phoenix does give you 8.5 seconds of extra life, but outside of that it doesn't do a whole lot. Whereas this Frosty, particularly if it sits behind your King and the snakes from the snake bracelet the whole time, will give your King more than 8.5 seconds of extra life, and it will support other parts of your attack as well, with the Frostmites going after defenses. Really nice combination. Just as long as you don't put your King into immediate damage, you're really going to get the value out of this. On the Archer Queen, we're running the Sneezy. Now, I don't necessarily agree with this, but if the pros are using it, they obviously know better than me. And the thinking behind this is, A, if the Queen goes into the center of the base, obviously it's really nice to help out with the healers, but B, even if she's just funneling, Sneezy is really nice. You get all of those boogers helping throughout the attack, and obviously once the Queen goes down, the Sneezy is actually a little bit of a menace. It goes into its rage mode. But the most interesting one here for me here is the Diggy, and the reasoning behind it's really simple, particularly if you're in the Legends mode. The more damage there is on the base, the more damage that's being negated by the Diggy when it stuns defenses. It's got so many hit points as well, it doesn't go down super quick, and stunning the defenses really helps your Root Riders stay alive in the center of the base. Now, obviously, because we don't have the Sneezy, our healer's a bit more vulnerable, but we'll get onto that in point number 2, which is all about siege machines. Most of the time, I recommend bringing the Troop Launcher, and the reason for this is we don't have the Sneezy on our Warden, so we want to protect our healers, and the best way to do that is to spawn some rocket balloons deep in the base. They're going to tank the Seeking Air Mines and keep your healers healthy. But it's not just that. Even the random troops, the Barbarians and Archers who have absolutely no hit points, it's just extra troops in your army, and you'll actually find when you do this attack strategy, feels like you don't have many troops in the core, but once the Troop Launcher is done shooting, you have so many troops everywhere, and it's just continuous damage throughout the base. Now there's one reason I wouldn't use the Troop Launcher, and that is to come in with the Log Launcher instead. The Log Launcher is really handy when your RC charge doesn't set a good funnel, because funnel is everything with the Root Riders. So what you can do, you can use your Queen and the Log Launcher on the inside, King on the outside, and Root Riders in the middle. And this is really handy, A, when the RC doesn't set a good funnel, but B, if there's those annoying centralized town halls that the Root Riders are never going to path to, because the Log Launcher and the contents of the Log Launcher can go and take the town hall down, and then you don't need to worry about it, and you can use your overgrowth on other buildings that aren't the town hall. Now, this is the most interesting tip I'm going to give you today, and if you watch Stars, you'll know he's been doing it recently. By default, with this Root Rider army comp, I bring one Super Wall Breaker. It's nice to have with the King. But technically, you don't need to bring that Super Wall Breaker. And what a lot of the pros have been doing is they bring rocket balloons instead of these Super Wall Breakers, and the rocket balloons are so handy for a million different reasons. You can use them with your RC charge to set a funnel so that your RC goes into the center of the base, particularly as more and more bases are getting better at defending the Royal Champion charge. You can use the rocket balloons with your main push to do the same thing that the Troop Launcher rocket balloons are doing in pulling traps for your healers, or you can use them on the back end of the base to snipe some defenses. Maybe it'll help path your Root Riders better, or it's just a pesky defense that you really want to go down. You're always going to get some value with the rocket balloons. They're such a well-rounded and flexible super troop, and if you're good enough with regular wall breakers to wall break in your King, why not bring the rocket balloons instead? You will have to give up maybe a Valk, a couple of super buffs, an ice golem to get the rocket balloons in your army, but if you know what you're doing with it, you will get the value in return. Tip number 4 is all about the hero equipment, and the King, I think everyone can agree, Spiky Ball, Snake Bracelet best. The Royal Champion, it's up for debate. If you bring 6 invis spells or less, I would bring the Rocket Spear. 7 invis or more, bring the Haste Vial, and really go for a deep Royal Champion charge. But the interesting one here is both the Grand Warden and the Archer Queen. The Grand Warden, for me, the Rage Gem is quite clearly better, particularly if you go into the harder modes, whether it be Expert, Master, Legends, or Esports. The Rage Gem is a must. The Healing Tome can still work on the regular mode of the game, but Rage Gem is just more well-rounded, and if you're protecting your healers really well with the Troop Launcher, Rocket Balloons, you name it, then the Healing Tome really has no benefit over the Rage Gem. And the other one, this one's up for debate. All the pros, though, are currently using the Giant Arrow. And I think the reason for that is they want to spawn the Giant as quickly as possible. So, which ability pairs best with that? The Giant Arrow. Whereas the Magic Mirror, some of the time you don't want to use that ability immediately because they only spawn for 30 seconds. And the Healer Puppet just isn't as strong. Whereas Giant Arrow, really nice, and even better if you can use it to activate Invis Towers, remove Air Sweepers that are going to be pesky for your healers, or even just to set a funnel. That's what I've been doing with it. Just sets an even deeper funnel for your Root Riders. If you still want to use the Magic Mirror, you can still 3-star with it, but I think there's a reason all the best players are using the Giant Arrow. And tip 5 is all about your invis spells with the Royal Champion charge, particularly when you get into the harder modes. Because, as you see here, this is an FC on Legends, that means the defenses are doing 20% extra damage. Now, your Royal Champion, as long as you don't run into a bait, can deal with that. But your Fox can't, and you're going to see here, I'm going to constantly double up on the invis spells. Now, this might be looked at as blatantly inefficient because you're using one extra invis spell, then you could probably go without. But even if you time your invis perfectly, your Royal Champion can take damage in that fraction of a second. And that means your Fox can go down extremely quickly. And I would personally rather get slightly less value with the RC charge if it means A, my Royal Champion's 100% going to stay alive, but B, if the Fox stays alive as well. You see my Fox here halfway through the attack is still extremely healthy. And that means this Royal Champion, it's going to be very hard for her to go down, because keep in mind, the Royal Champion has significantly faster movement speed than the Root Riders. It's not uncommon for her to accidentally go out in front and get targeted. So if you've got your Fox alive, that is huge. And you see, I've still got the Fox alive, very high HP here. It basically took no damage during that Royal Champion charge. Now, if I timed my invis better, sure, I would have got 2 or 3 extra defenses, but you're going to easily make up for that on the back end of the base. Fox is still extremely healthy. Royal Champion's invisible here during her Rocket Spear ability. Fox still up at the very end, and honestly, I would have 3-starred anyway, but there's plenty of attacks I've done where that has been the difference, and that is probably the best bit of advice I can give you today. Go 2 for 1 with your invis spells when you get towards the center of the base, and that way you're more likely to have success on the second half of the attack. That's it for today's video. Hopefully the advice was helpful for you all. Maybe I should switch out this Super Wall Breaker for a Rocket Balloon. I'm still learning the army myself, but these are the 5 tips that pros make use of to be the difference between 3-starring and not.